guys. Welcome to another episode of the Coach Love Show. I am Erica Atkins, affectionately known as Coach Love. You know what? I have often been told that the opening music to this show is hypnotic. I agree. And I got some folks that's hypnotic for you. So I am going to bring them right on to the stage. Hello. How are you guys doing? I have Mr. and Mrs. Sugar Ray Destin today. You got to take yourself off mute. Come on, take yourself
There we
off
go.
mute.
There we go. We unmuted.
There we go. Wait a minute. Somebody take a picture, be like, click, click. They look good, don't they?
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a very dynamic couple. They are wise and full of energy and full of success together. So we're going to unwrap a lot of things today. Just curious, just curious. I heard a little birdie told me that today was a day of celebration because you launched your what?
We launched author number 227 to Amazon #1 bestseller.
All right, all right. Now I know you guys do way more than launch books. As a matter of fact, Shamia, you are a marketing executive, correct?
Yes, in a sense, I am a CEO and owner of a media marketing company and firm, and we run a network called Boss Up Houston Network here in the Houston area,
Mm-hmm.
and we have shows, podcasts, and also we do media and marketing for businesses, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I am in collab with my husband with his BOBM Publishing LLC, and I also am the head of marketing on his business.
That is excellent. Now, this is my question for you guys. You look good. I'm guessing you smell good. You-
Yes, you smell amazing.
All right, there you go. And there's a lot of love in the room, but none of this was done without God.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, where did God fully show up for you? I just need a couple of examples. Fully show up for you when you were looking, because you know what? People don't build these businesses. You don't get to where you are and it's just easy. You don't get there without opposition. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how we do, right? We smile and we profile and we're like, hey, yeah, this is awesome. And we are reaching these heights. But the for real, there was some hateration, some holleration, some sweat, some blood, some tears, and some people who let you down and disappointed you, right?
Yeah. Listen, I'm
I,
actually I'm actually 22. Just all the stuff that you just named. That's where all these grades come from.
I know that's real. I know that's real. So tell me a recent um, example or where God showed up for you when you didn't think there was a way.
Well, I want to say this first. God shows up every day. Trust.
Listen, okay, God shows up. If you are here and you are breathing, God is showing up for you because you don't do nothing to pump those lungs, okay?
Oh yeah.
Listen, he shows up every day, especially in our situation. But you can go ahead.
And I'll actually go back to, I want to say around April, or was it April or was it March?
March, I believe.
It was the end of March, beginning of April, when we were introduced. And the reason that I say that this is when God showed up for us is because both of us were in that situation. We were building our businesses. We were, just locked in and focused. And you could literally say we weren't looking for each other. But God heard our prayers and, every CEO, every business owner, every person who's actually going for it does have that moment when they do say, "Hey, God, I need help. I need somebody that's somebody that's like me, that understands me, that understands the grind, that understands the business." And I heard her voice, and
Aw.
and it was day one, literally, when we heard each other's voices. It was like, really, God, like you just right now, 10 o'clock at night, and
So you
and
washed her up quick. You was like clink clink.
oh yeah,
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say day one. God showed up day one. Because let me tell you something. It had to have been God, okay, for me to even open my mind and my thoughts and my heart to really accept it and trying to be in love again. Like that was nothing but God. Trust.
Okay. Because you guys didn't know each other. Have you even known each other a year, or where are you?
No.
What are we at, about 6 months?
Yeah.
Maybe 6 months knowing each other, 3 months married in 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Look, that's why y'all all glowy. You guys. So how did you propose?
It was kind of the first day. It was
Stop.
no.
Wait a minute.
First conversation.
The first conversation.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
What we do?
Stop in the name of love. So wait a minute. First day, you was like, you mine. And she was like, I'm getting that bald head.
See, day one, her first words to me was, "Look, I ain't got time to be playing around. I need a husband." Oh. And the first thing that I did when we got on the phone was I sung the "Coming to America" song. Everybody knows it. She's your queen to me.
He really did that. That's a true story. True story.
And,
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
And as the conversation continued, we talked. It was just, everything that she wanted in life were things that I wanted in life. The things that her family values, her love for God, her grind. Some of the things that she was going through, some of the things that I was going through, just like everything was in alignment, and still is in alignment. Good days and bad days, it's still in alignment. So
how long was the first conversation?
Maybe 12 hours.
What?
I tell this story all the time. I'm hijacking your.
Go ahead.
But anyway, I tell the story all the time. I'm like, I don't talk to nobody. I don't even talk to my mama.
Okay,
like longer than 15 minutes on the phone. Like I'm literally like on and off. I'm not a woman of many words. But when I do talk, it's a purpose, it's meaningful. Right. I'm not just frivolously on the phone and gossiping or talking to people. So for me to even have the conversation with him, and lasted that long, it was something, like I said, it was that divine connection that we had. Everything was aligning. And, the next couple of days, we just continued talking. It felt like middle school and high school again. Aww. You know how you on the phone, you don't want to hang up. It was that. I'm like, oh, really? Like, what is this? So people say love at first sight, but it wasn't love at first sight. It was more love at when our hearts aligned.
So what was y'all on the phone for anyway? What happened?
Because
go ahead.
Somebody introduced. So my friend, who is a matchmaker, okay, introduced us, or tried to introduce us. He would say that I avoided him for a couple of days, but I really didn't.
Okay, so wait a minute. You guys used a matchmaker?
No,
we didn't use a matchmaker. So she's my friend, and okay. he went on an interview, something like this, on her show,
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh my God, I met your Boaz." And I was like, "What?" Girl, stop
Okay.
playing. And
Okay.
she literally said, "I met your Boaz," and I think she told him the same thing. You know, I met your rib. Yeah. And so I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
okay. And he was the same. So, he reached out to actually have a conversation. So that's why we were on the phone.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. So it was a friend who is a professional matchmaker
Yeah.
who happens to be, all up in you guys's, hearts. And she was like,
Yeah,
I
and
got
she will
it.
tell you me and her have been friends for over 12 years, and she's never matched me with anybody.
Okay. 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 So you, Shamir, you already had trust in her judgment, right?
I had trust in her judgment, but I didn't. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't. I was like, girl, I don't
Mm-mm.
know.
Okay. Okay.
I'm like, he cute and all, but
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But
Okay.
we got to give a shout out to her because she does an amazing job, and her name is Amber Neal.
yeah,
Amber Neal,
shout out to Amber Neal.
millionaire matchmaker here in Houston.
All right. I love it. Amber Neal. Okay, you guys, you folks want to, as a matter of fact, I know a couple of people who happen to be watching and they
Come
are
Hey,
on,
looking for
listen,
their
come on,
rib.
watching.
she does
Yes,
a
they're
she
looking
does
for their rib
a
and their Boaz.
she does the matchmaking show every Thursday. So if they are serious, she does have a small fee, but it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
definitely
Okay.
worth it. I found my forever. So
Okay, that's wonderful. Wait, did y'all pay her a fee even though she wasn't even charging you guys?
No,
No.
we did. We worked, like I said, me and Amber worked together for 12 plus years. So
Got
she
it.
she got her money.
I got it. So wait a minute. So Sugar Ray, why were you even on her show in the first place? What were you doing? What was going on?
she brought me on. We were talking about books, and
Okay.
so that's the lane that I'm in with publishing, and
Mm-hmm.
we were celebrating that I had at that point it was I want to say somewhere around 100 Amazon #1 bestsellers, and so she brought me on to talk about it. I actually drove from Austin, where I was staying at the time, to Houston to be on the radio show. She was like, "You can just be on virtual." I was like, "Nah, I'll come in. I'm from Houston." So
Okay.
when we finally had that conversation, it was fun, it was energetic, it was just a good interview. And she kept trying to get me back to be on the singles couch or the singles sofa. And I
Okay.
said, no, I'm not doing it. And just so happened the next week, Miss Shamir was on the single sofa. And
I'm always on the single. Well, I was.
oh,
I was always on the single supper girl. I was a regular.
Okay. And so wait a minute. Tell us about the single sofa. So what's going on the single sofa? What's going on?
So she just has singles to come on there if they're actually looking for love, and she asks them questions, kind of get a feel of them, and then see if she can match them with other people. Uh, Sugar Ray and I are actually spokesmen for her actual business. It's called
Okay.
Meridate. So you guys can go to meridate.com and look up all of that information. It's an application to go on the single sofa. Also, her information for matchmaking is on there as well. So
Okay.
yeah,
Can you spell Meridate?
it's
M
MARRIDATE
MARRIDATE
mhm.
.com.
.com. Okay, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
throwing out there. Throwing it on out there.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
did I get that right? Did I get that
Oh
right?
That's
yeah, you
it.
got it.
That's
You got
it.
it.
All right, excellent. Okay, so you were hanging out on the single sofa, just kind of like a friend does, always making sure the conversation is going and it's looking good. You got some good looking folks up there, so got it. So that was part of your role. And then what's her name? What's girlfriend's name?
Amber
Amber
Neal.
New.
Amber Neal, and Amber Neal saw all of 6'7" and said, "Mm-hmm."
Yes, so she say, baby, I got your Boaz. And I was like, where he at? And she sent a picture. And one other story I tell all the time is that I recognized him before I knew him.
Ooh, tell me about that. Explain that one to the girls.
Listen, okay. So a couple of weeks before the Amber introduced us, one of my other friends went through him for a book.
Okay.
I didn't know Sugar Ray, and she invited me on her book launch, which is something that BOBM does. They do a book launch for you, and you invite your people on to celebrate the launch.
Okay.
And so so when I went on to support my friend, I saw him because he was heading, the launch. Mm-hmm. And something I didn't know him, never had met him, but I recognized him at that moment. Okay. And I'm like, it's something about this guy. It's something about him that I recognize. It's something that was familiar. Okay. Fast forward to like 2 or 3 weeks later, Amber is sending me a picture and introducing me to him and giving me his name and things of that nature. So that was one other thing that I was like, okay, this something else.
Okay.
What is going on here? So, and then again, once we had the conversation, everything just aligned.
Okay, so everything aligned. You guys are on this 12-hour phone conversation. Did the phone conversation happen before or after the date? How did that happen?
Before.
And she's exaggerating. It wasn't 12 hours. It was
really not.
It was like 4 hours that we were on the phone. But
it felt like 12 to me.
Yeah, the conversation started at 10 o'clock at night, which we in our 40s. So 10 o'clock at night is
I'm gonna say that it started at 10 because I was coming from an event. See, he not giving. So a couple of days before, you want to tell that story because that's your best part of the story.
So, okay, let's get it. Come on, let's get it in.
All right. I guess we gotta go do the rewind.
Yes.
So she got the introduction from Amber the way that she did. I got an introduction. I get an introduction. It's like 10 o'clock at night, and it's, hey, I got somebody I need you to meet. And I was like, okay. And they were like personal relationship. And I said, okay, pick and resume. Because again, I'm not one of those people that have that type of time to just, we're gonna spend a whole bunch of time going through the rigmarole or whatever. And so she was like, yeah, call her. She's a night owl. 2 days later, after calling, I called that night. She didn't answer. I called the next day. She didn't answer. The next evening, that Sunday evening, is when she finally called. So alpha woman, she had to keep that control.
Oh my God. No, that was not what that was.
Really?
Oh
really?
But you want to know what? I got to hover over this. And I'm so glad you guys are bringing this up because I wanted to talk about leadership in this very, strong-minded, strong-willed, God-fearing relationship. Because you're talking about Boaz and Rib. So that's biblical. If anybody does not understand Boaz and Rib, those are biblical terms for a woman's husband and a woman's wife. Okay, so that's what that is, and that's why we're using them. Now, that said, you're feeling that she's a alpha female, but
not feeling. What? Not feeling.
Not feeling. So wait a minute. What is it?
She is.
She is. Okay. Okay.
I ain't gonna argue with you.
Right.
I am. No, I am an alpha female, but I always say this and I tell everybody this, and this is the truth.com, honey. Okay.
Okay.
This is the only man.
All right now. All right.
That can tone that the strongness of a woman that I have, the strength of a woman that I am, and soften it up, And so yes, I am an alpha female, but in that I understand the role that my husband needs to play as well. And so when I need to tone it down, I try to tone it down. I'm gonna say try. He gonna say something else if I say I do. But there are times, and this is in a marriage and in relationships, period. You just have to pick your battles, and you also have to compromise. And if we want this to be, or we want this to work, we have to make this thing work. Okay, and so that's what it is.
So I'm going to accept the term alpha female. I'm going to ask you, Sugar Ray, are you an alpha male?
Damn right.
Yes.
Okay then. Well, alrighty then. That's why you kept calling. That's why you kept calling 3 days in a row.
Yeah, and then go tell me I ain't calling you no more. Call me when you get time.
Oh yeah, I was done. I wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't tell y'all that.
I wasn't. No, after that, I was not about to call her again, and it had nothing to do with. Funny. It had nothing to do with me not liking her, but it was like, you know what? If your time is that valuable, then let you continue with your life, and let me continue with the life that God blessed me with.
That was.
But and then he didn't tell y'all.
Play me.
Huh?
He didn't tell y'all.
I'm not no simp. You ain't finna have me keep chasing you.
Oh no, that ain't happening. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah. And he says that I wasn't talking to him. Or I didn't respond. I was texting him and saying, "Hey, I'm at an event. I'll give you a call." And then he would say that I wasn't responding at all, like in 3 days, but that's not the case. I was responding to him.
I got receipts, right?
Yeah, show
them.
I'm not gonna show the receipts, but yeah, it was some delay in that conversation.
All right, Sugar Ray, are you saying that you did not get the text? Is that what we are saying?
No, I got the text, but I got the message.
You got the text, but you got the message.
Mm-hmm.
Break that down, please, sir.
Even though the text was like, yeah, I'm at an event or whatnot, I always tell people the funniest thing you can tell a busy person is that you're too busy. And so I was getting the message of, listen, I got more things going on that need my attention. Mm-hmm. So as much as I wanted to pursue this woman, I also understood if I keep trying to pursue you, then that's not going to leave any chance for us to have a conversation, because I become not a necessity. Yeah, I become a necessity instead of a need.
So that wasn't the case though, even though that was real good what you just said.
But you want to know something? I'm feeling this breakdown, and I'm gonna tell you why. Just because from his end it looks one way, and from the female end it really looks
right
another way.
Yes, and I'm gonna say this too. So I'm a real woman.
Okay.
So even for me to talk to him, put your hand down. Even for me to talk to him at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
it was more like, okay, let me go ahead and call him, because now he's taking it a different way and not the way I'm meaning for him to take it. So that's why I called him that third day at 10. But generally, he wouldn't have got that phone call because I'm not on the phone with men at 10 o'clock at night.
Because I'm not just anybody.
I'm saying then at that time. You know what I'm saying? So there were a couple of things that was going on with the communication part of him calling and her texting. And I don't know why Amber said that, because I normally go to sleep early, but if we're working on a project, then we're up working. And so that's probably why so that was a miscommunication too, because I'm not up at 10 o'clock at night.
You know what? So the title of this show for you guys tonight is All Things Through Christ Jesus. And yes.
I say every day. Jesus every day.
This whole scenario with you guys, you guys can do all things through Christ Jesus, because baby, but you know what? You guys are so beautiful. You are so beautiful together. Is there ever any competition with you guys, or how does that work?
It's competition.
It's no competition, but sometimes there is a struggle for the lead.
Okay.
And I'll say, like, there's things that she's really good at, and there's things that I'm really good at. And one of her phrases, that's one of my favorite phrases now, is I don't know everything, but what I do know, I know. And so sometimes we get into that struggle, but we've learned, I guess, even over the past few months, have grown better at learning to, accept the strengths of the other to push this thing forward, because it's not a short-term goal. We going for the long haul.
You know what is, sexy about you guys, what's remarkable about you guys, is that you guys decided to be serious. Okay, we on this phone. You guys you didn't play around, because you know what a lot of grown folks do, they will
he didn't play around.
No, he didn't play around. Well, no, you didn't either, because you're not ready to tell them I'm looking for a husband.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you this. I wasn't expecting
my level of commitment.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the level that he brought it. And I appreciate him for that.
But see, I have to celebrate that, because, and this is something that I know this to be a true. If a man actually wants you, he will marry you. Period. There is no, 7 years, 10 years, all of this. If he wants you, he will marry you. It's as simple as that. And that is why when a woman, she will be sitting up there dating a man for, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. And then the moment they break up, he meets somebody and marry him.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. How many times has that happened?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Sugar Ray, what's up with that? Talk to us about that. Because it's the opposite of what you did. And so I need you to give a little insight, give a little male game away. Come on.
From the male side, if it goes both ways, because a man knows when a woman is serious, and a man knows when a woman is wife material. And I give you some signs that I was looking for at that point. I'm not a fan of the selfie queen. And the selfie queen is a person who, every week they got body shots on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. They're trying to expose themselves because they're looking for the attention of the village. The not looking for somebody who's always trying to make you feel like you have to compete in order to get her attention. Even though we know, a beautiful woman is being pursued daily, but no man wants to constantly feel like, oh, if I mess up, then Jack around the corner is about to call. Some of the other things is, what is your house life like? What is your business life like? What do you want out of life? And if the things that you want out of life don't match up with where I'm going, I come and introduce myself to you, and you're not showing me the qualities of the woman that I'm looking for, then we can play around all day. But
Mhm.
in the back of my mind, I know you're not the one that I came for,
Mhm.
because a man knows his woman's voice. And once a man hears that voice, he's not going to stop pursuing that woman until he gets it. I mean, we can look at it. Everybody laughs at this example, but Steve Urkel, he chased
Mhm.
Laura from the time that he was like 11, 12 years old until until he got what he wanted. Dwayne Wayne chasing Whitney. When a man knows, he knows. And even though those are TV examples, it's the exact same thing. A man knows what he wants and what he's looking for in a woman. And when a woman shows that, she knows he knows that she's ready. Because a man is not looking for drama. He's not looking for somebody that he has to argue with all the time. He's looking for somebody that he can build with, somebody that he can provide for, somebody that he can protect, somebody that loves him for the man that he is, and is willing to follow. If he's in if he's going to lead, then she has to be willing to follow. And I think what's been lost, and no offense, this is going to sound horrible, but no offense to the strong women out there, but sometimes you gotta soften it up, because no man wants to date another dude. I'm being so honest. I mean, it's the truth, because women have become so accustomed to having to be hard for the world that they don't know how to soften it up for the man in their life. And so if I find out that I'm it's the equivalent of dating a homie, why am I gonna marry you?
Mhm.
We're gonna fight all the time. I don't want
Okay.
that. A man wants peace in his life. That's
Mhm.
all. You can ask her. I'd much rather peace than us to raise our voices. I'd much rather peace than for us to be on bad terms, because the long term, I'm not trying to die young. Honestly, the more peace you can bring me, the better and the easier it's gonna be for me to find you. But
Mhm.
if you're out there, I don't need no man, and I got this and I got that, that's cool. You'd be surprised how many men on the other side are like, man, you know what? It's I wish I could find a good woman. And there are so many good women that are losing because they're playing the hard role with men that just want to love them. And then there are so many men that are losing because when they show a woman their soft side, the woman is like, I want Tyrone down the street. He a thug. He gonna no.
Mm-mm.
Let that man be a man. You dated a Tyrone? Okay.
So I really do understand what you are talking about. I really, really do. At the same time, I understand the woman's perspective, of course, because I am a woman. This is the deal, girls. We cannot um, give the job of a man to a boy. That's the bottom line. And so we have to educate ourselves to know the difference between a man and a boy so that we don't end up frustrated and um, treat a man that comes along the same way we treat a boy that we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line there.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the bulk of it. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into that whole mentality where it comes
Mm.
from, but we got to go back 400 years to really dive into that one, and that's for a different conversation.
You know what? I really should have a show on baby boy.
Mm.
That you know what, Shamir, you coming? If I have
Bring
it,
me on, girl.
Yeah, Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, ISIS
yes,
papers.
I really
Bring me
should have
on.
a show on that.
Jody?
And it's really not to beat up men, but it is to show a clear difference. But because I want to tell you, ooh, I do not, I do not like a boy who disguises himself as a man. I do not. Ooh, take off that costume, please.
I tell everybody, strip their representative. Get to those deep rooted questions that you, especially, and this is for women of a certain age.
Okay.
Because after a certain age, your morals, values, your priorities, or just different. And so initially going into a relationship, you guys need to be on one accord. You need to be on the same page, especially if you're looking to go further in the relationship.
Okay, I agree with you. I do want to go back to this though, because I think it's very difficult for women to understand where they are on the map. Because a man, not a boy now, a man will sit back and enjoy a woman that is not his wife. He will just enjoy her time, but he'll date her. We're having fun. Oh, we're having a good time. And as a matter of fact, he might actually love her, but have no intentions of wifing her. So talk about that.
Sugar Ray.
Thank you. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What he quiet like I wasn't talking?
Yeah.
No, sir. No, sir. Sugar Ray.
So you want the
yes, again, I want the real deal.
It goes back again to think of it like this. If and I know there's a few people that come to mind, right? Where the relationship stays rocky. The reason that the relationship stays rocky is because that boy hasn't been called out to be the man in the relationship. He hasn't been put in that place where he's going to lose everything, right? And a lot of times what women consider boys are just men who haven't been called to the square. If that makes any sense. So if I have the privilege of being with a woman who, let's say she makes more money than me, and she's like, you don't have to do nothing, just stay home and play video games. At one point in my life, and this was like 20s, I'm way beyond that now.
Please clarify.
Because Shamia is not having that one.
Really? But at one point in my life, that would have been ideal, because now you got bragging rights with your friends. Okay. Fam, I got a woman that take care of me. She good to me, and your dudes know that that's a good woman, but she's never made you step up to the plate. She's never made that look, you can't hang out with your homies all the time. You cannot. I don't like the fact that you go into the club all the time. And when she does say it, she's crying about it. If that makes any sense. Why are you always going out with your friends? Why you? But there's no call to action. There's no call to change your behavior. So he does not know that he needs to step up. So he's going to continue to play around until he's been called to the square, right? And this is I've seen good relations. Oh, y'all are giving me the look.
No,
but
because you said he does not know. What?
Right. You want to know something? I appreciate everything you're saying, and I want you to continue talking because I do have some thoughts.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the reason that I'm saying that is, yes, there are those guys out there that are truly in love with their woman. They're truly in love with that woman, but they have not been, like I said, they haven't been called to the square. And
I think it's a thing about, you know how they say the grass is always greener or whatever, or the grass is greener. It's like at the end of the day, you realize at what point, with men, I feel like at what point are you gonna grow up
Mm-hmm.
because that's what it is. It's the maturity thing. Like, at what point are you going to grow up and be in a committed relationship truly, really?
See,
You know,
now we got to
Mm-hmm.
go back.
and
Now,
then you talk about the grass is always greener. It's like, yes, it's pros and cons to everything, you know. And once you are at a mature level, you understand that. So just because what I love about one man, or if a man loves this about a woman, it's not to say that the other woman, he's not gonna love something about her, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. Now, you're assuming that these boys know how to be men,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a huge difference. So a lot of I'm going to generalize, but I'm going to make it plain. A lot of the boys that y'all are talking about did not grow up with a man to emulate, right? There are great men that they could have taken the time to emulate, but maybe those people weren't close enough for them to put their hands on and say, I want to be like Coach Johnny. Coach Johnny has been married for past 25 years. He's been with his wife. But I've never spent time with Coach Johnny. The only time I ever get a chance to be around Coach Johnny is if I get in trouble, and then they call him in. So those 5 minutes of conversation is all I know. But the people that did adopt me to be father figures in my life were the people that were not on the right track. The people that were the pimps, the players, the hustlers. So all I know about women are the type of women that came around them. So when I see a good woman, even though I want to be a good man for her, I don't know how to. And that's what I mean when I say these boys haven't been called out to become men. Because once you can ask when we started dating, there are certain couples that I said, you know what, I want to be around those couples because I like their relationship. Maybe they've been together for 10 years, maybe they've been together for 20 plus years. Maybe it's just a feeling that you get from that couple that lets you know, oh, they got something going on. They've discovered the secret to keeping this relationship happy. Whether it's good days or bad days, you can tell they're on one accord. Now, there's also go ahead.
Well, I was just going to just say that that is a tip, a secret, um, that is important for a relationship, that you are around healthy couples, doing healthy couple things. That is very important. Oh, wait a minute. What happened there? What's up? What was that? What was that?
Oh no, that's crazy girl.
Spill it.
No, I think that's true. I think you should be around healthy, happy couples, but I also think that, because I'm a realist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just real about every situation. It's being around a happy couple. If my mindset is not in the right space, or if I'm not right in my situation is going to still be my situation. Like, their situation is not going to affect what's going on if I'm not, what I want to say, if I'm not letting what they're doing rub off. You know what I'm saying? And
So
so
yes.
that's why we have the conversations a lot about, what's best for this and what's best for that. And it's more like, well, what is the real situation? Because
Mm-hmm.
if I don't need to do that, then I don't want to do something that I don't need to do if we can correct it here. And that's nothing that we need to go further or deeper into.
Okay. All right. So I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. From I will just say this. Another couple cannot fix what's going on in your relationship. However, it's kind of like, when you see better, you do better.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So you want to have those couples to strengthen you and to gird you, to
Right.
gird you up. So that's what I mean by being around healthy couples. But so it's not it's not either, either or. You have to do the work with uh within the marriage. Now that said, this is what I wanted, and I hope I don't lose this. I hope I don't lose this point. Sugar Ray, you were talking about a woman making a man ready and holding him accountable, right?
Yeah.
That's true, except we cannot make you a man if you are not ready to be a man. And
That's, it sounds good. And
no,
I
no, I
also
want to, I want to finish this thought.
go ahead.
Because two things that a woman should not be to her man: his mama and a nag.
This is true.
And what you were saying is, if she's always gotta, chase him down, always gotta, um, you can't be on the video games, da 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 da, or whatever, all that, man, no. Those are things that a man has to decide those things for himself. He just does. Otherwise you got me being a nag and your mama. That's not my job. You just indicated that you wanted the woman to be your piece.
Yeah, and this is true. Like I completely agree. A woman cannot raise a man, but a woman can show a man the things that he missed along the way.
Right, I guess what
So
I'm saying,
so
nobody's
for
going to
example,
raise a grown man. Nobody's going to raise a grown man, and nobody, well, no, somebody will try, hence baby boy. Somebody might try to raise a grown man and telling him to, stop playing the video games and stop staying out late at night and all of these kinds of things. But this is what I have learned: if I gotta like yell and fuss at you to do it, you probably don't want to do it. And what you will do is find a way to make me your enemy because you don't want to do it. That's not happening.
that's true and false at the same time. So there's there's a certain there's a certain energy that women give off, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And that energy, that femininity, that beauty that a woman possesses, she does have the ability to coax a man into wanting more. For example, if she wants a man to be a provider, certain things that are said, as if y'all are out riding around, oh, that's a
Hmm.
nice house, and y'all
Hmm.
still staying in an apartment. I mean, seriously, because that man is taking note, he's paying attention. He just may not know that was what you wanted. It may be something as simple as, oh, you know what? I wish we didn't. I wish I had somebody to cut the grass. Something, those simple suggestions
Hmm.
mean more than nagging. Let me not say nagging, because I'm gonna
No,
get
you
beat up
said it
by
right.
this woman.
You,
Yeah, I'm gonna get beat up by this woman,
you
and
no,
but
that constant
if
reminding.
when
That's
you
nagging. It's annoying.
but when you drop subtle hints work a lot better. Subtle
Okay.
hints work a lot better, and it's kind of coaxing
Oh, God.
a man into what's needed.
What-
For example, there's certain things that I don't know when it comes down to marketing, and sometimes she's forceful and says you need to do it this way, and then other times she's like, "Babe, did you do the that little thing that I said?" And it's like, "Oh yeah, now I remember," and it becomes second nature. So a man doesn't the I think the one of the issues with relationships is that we assume that the other knows what the other doesn't. And it's just those simple conversations that can change the dynamic of any situation. If you want a man to be a certain type of way, put it out on the line. Put it out there. Hey, you know what? I really love being with you. I really enjoy your company. And we've been together for a while. This is not working. This is not where we need to be. We need to move this thing forward. So are we going to move forward? Or is this just something that we're doing for fun? Let me know, and I'm cool with either way.
Yeah,
And
because the thing about it is the willingness. Okay.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
a woman has to be willing to even want to drop hints for you to figure
Mm.
something out. Like at this point, for me, it was more like, okay, I know the caliber of a man that I need. So I'm not even conversing with men that I have to tell not to play a video game. We're not doing that. I'm not even having
Amen.
a conversation with you. So
Amen.
number one, a woman needs to know her worth in order to go into a relationship that's going to be worth your time, your mind. I, you being unaligned with your mate has something to do with how you choose, who you pick, and that's the reason why we had to have the conversations, and we had to have the initial conversation, because if you wasn't on my level, we
Mm-hmm.
weren't gonna have a second conversation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm well, baby, okay, but we on each other level, so we good. But I'm saying this to women because that's why you get the baby boys and all this stuff, because you reaching down here. Okay, he needs to
Mm-hmm.
be talking to somebody that's on his level,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so where you at, you start where you are. You don't go below.
Well, you want to know what a habit of women is being, accepting a piece of man. Getting you a little old piece of man, and then you got a whole man.
But men do the same thing.
Not a little old piece of man.
Well, yes. You want to know what? It's just different, and I will give you how it is embedded into our culture. Biblically, a man was able to have multiple wives. Okay, they didn't have but a little old piece of man. Okay, then I'm going to fast. Okay, they just didn't. I'm going to fast forward to tradition, and they had a man might have a woman on the south side and a woman on the north side, and he got two whole freaking families, and mama live in the middle, and she trying to let the cousins not marry each other. They they got a little old piece of man. Okay, and that has trickled down all the way into the culture now, where these boys and these everybody, they're player. Everybody's a player. There's whole songs about being a player. Men have taught one another how to be players and get the most out of a woman with giving the very least, so you can string them along and not marry the woman. Women kind of typically more often want to get married. This is not a blame, it's not a blame thing. I'm just expressing what
I
what
can.
is,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just what that is what
Yeah. It's
is.
a misogynistic society.
It's what's been instilled in us. I tell everybody, I say this all the time, that Cinderella story just messed us up. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
looking for Prince Charming, and he trying to be a player. So our thought process going into a relationship or not aligned initially until you get,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I say the maturity has to be there, because until you get to a maturity level, and I'm not talking about age, because we talked about that too. Age doesn't mean that you're mature. We got
Mm-hmm.
50-year-old children out here.
Right. What, some people not grown, they just old. That's it.
Hmm.
Exactly. And so, going into it, that's why those conversations need to be had. Those questions need to be asked. We talked about deal breakers. We talked about what we want in family. We talked about prior relationships, things we dealt with, things we don't want to deal with going into it was a
That we
full,
won't deal with.
yeah, things we want to acquire. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
our
Mm-hmm.
own goals, and then we collide those goals or put those goals together and say, okay, these are our goals now.
Mm-hmm.
there are there were a lot of conversations prior to pursuing the actual relationship. And I'm not going to say, because we talked on the phone every day after the first day, and we still have those conversations about just coming together and being on one accord, because I can feel one way and say, hey, I want to do this, But at the end of the day, if he's not on board, this is a sinking ship. And vice versa. So it's important for you to communicate effectively in a relationship, and that's what's missing majority of the time. Somebody is hurt, something happens, and then people just start doing what they're doing. They never had a conversation about it. It's never a amends, and then when it is amends, it's too late. And so communication is number one and key, going into the relationship and while, during, and after.
I got you. So I have a question. At what point did you guys pray together first? At what point?
Did we pray together?
Yeah, when did that happen? When did you guys start praying together?
Day 2.
Okay now.
Yeah, day 2.
And what was that like? Was that in person? Was that over the phone? What was that like?
Day 2 was over the phone.
But I'm gonna tell you that impressed me and opened my heart. And not that he needed to impress me. I'm saying that because sometimes the vulnerability is not there so early, in a relationship, to say, well, let's pray together, or, I want to pray over you, and this man right here, like, not even knowing the full scope of my family and things of that nature, it's praying over the family, praying over the success of my business, praying over my day, and so it's just it was refreshing to me to know that there was still a good man out there, because baby, let me tell you.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I mean, there are a lot of frogs and a lot of frogettes. Okay.
Ooh.
That is for sure. So when did you pray for him? When did you pray for him? Was that the second date too?
So he prays aloud. Okay. But we took turns, right? Because and see, this is a moment to where I realized that this is something different. Okay. The things that were happening for us were different, because normally I'm a minister.
Okay.
So I don't need nobody to pray for me, or I don't need him to tell me to pray and this and that. But he was like, okay, I prayed this morning. You want to pray? You want to pray us tonight to go to bed, for us to get off the phone and all that stuff. And I was like, okay. So it's just certain things that he did that showed me that he could lead, that I could follow him, that it might be a good look, to allow him to pray for me and allow this thing to manifest and become something. And so I when he asserted, because that was some assertion, you want to go ahead and pray, I was like, oh, okay. So I felt like I could follow.
Okay, you can follow that assertion. That is excellent. So do you have any advice? Because you guys are really doing it. You're doing all things through Christ Jesus. You got this wonderful, loving relationship going on. You guys are building your businesses separately, but building them together as well. What kind of advice do you have for people who are trying to do all things through Christ Jesus?
I'll give you something that one of my mentors gave me. He said, you got to remember that you're always in a triangle offense. There's God, there's you, there's your spouse. Everything else is trying to come against that.
Okay, now say that again. Say that again.
There's God at the top. There's you, and there's your spouse. So if you look at it, there's your triangle: God, spouse, and husband and wife. and everything outside of that can be either a distraction or a blessing. But you have to always remember that Lucy, we'll just call him Lucy, is deceitful and is always looking for ways to kind of slither into your relationship and break things up. So you have to keep God first. And as long as you keep God first and keep the communication open, then things will be okay. But definitely remove those distractions. Remove those distractions. And sometimes they have to be done a little bit more forceful than others. But that's where the alpha male comes in. I have no problem telling the dude you gotta go.
Oh, there you go. Bam. It's a wrap. That's all I have to say.
A few days, but
Shamir?
My advice is real love is selfless. So take self out of it. You know, I was single for a long time, and Sugar Ray was you know, single for a while as well. And so we were in a position to where we controlled everything that happened with our own lives. And coming together, you know, you again, that compromise needs to be there. So you have to be selfless. Don't be selfish in it. Look at all viewpoints. I say that even when we have a disagreement, sometimes I still feel the way I feel, but it's more about, you know, if I made him feel a way, does it give me more satisfaction that I'm standing my ground, or does it give me more satisfaction that he's now satisfied and happy that you know, I made the compromise, you know, I made the sacrifice. And so sacrifice, selflessness, and just genuine love. Treat the person how you want to be treated. You know, your person is going to love you regardless. Once you're in a marriage, the love is there, it never leaves. So you definitely want to love that person genuinely, and again, take those viewpoints out of self, out of how you feel. Oh, this is just how I feel, and this is what it is, you know. More so more so, you know, talk through it, and you know, try to do a compromise. I think that's the main thing that I struggle with, because I'm the only child. I was single for like 10 plus years. So everything, I had control of everything in my life, you know. And now it's just a different type of thing, and you have to learn to love that.
Wow. And you know what? We didn't even get down into some of the practical things like, where you guys stand with kids and all of those kinds of things. And then, like Shamir just said, you guys being single, she being single and her running her own show for so very long. Wait a minute. Let me see these babies. Oh, all right. All right. Wow. That's beautiful. So she has three girls and you had a girl and a boy, right? How old is everybody? Huh?
No, I have a son and one niece.
I got it. Okay.
And I have to say this. I don't know how much time we have, but I'm gonna say this about the children thing, right? So I was dead set on no, don't even ask. I'm not having kids. But again, it's like, what, Lord, what are you doing? So when we had this conversation on our first date.
Okay.
Because again, we were having these marriage conversations, like we were about to be married. Okay. Early on in the relationship, that was a different thing for me. But we were talking about children, and I was like, "Oh no, I ain't having no kids, boy." And then we had the conversation. I was like, "Wow!" And I'm telling you, these are these come to Jesus moments that I had with myself, and we're like, "Okay, this must be my husband," because no other man could make me even think about.
Sugar Ray, you gonna make her have a baby?
We talked about it, but I'm saying like we wouldn't even had the conversation.
Okay. I mean, yes, look, this is some serious love because a woman of a certain age.
Come on here.
Okay. We start feeling like Sarah.
My baby girl is 17. Okay. My oldest daughter is 21. I'm like, I'm done. Oh yeah, she's 22. Ooh, I keep saying 21. But yeah, I'm like, I'm done. So for me to even open my mind to say, you know, maybe if this is what he wants and we're married, you know, I would consider that. But I was dead set on no.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? Next year, if there is a if I'm interviewing y'all and y'all like this, you know.
I know, right?
Shaking the baby.
Girl, no, don't speak that. Oh.
Hey, well, it is what it is. Look, listen, I know y'all. It is what it is. It is gonna come about if it's gonna be. So there we go. You guys have been a beautiful. I do want to talk to you, you Shamir. I think just like on a woman to woman kind of level, not today, but a lot of women need to understand and just need to talk it out of what it is they need to break down in order to submit.
Yes.
To see, yeah, that because I see and I'm watching you go through it. Like I'm seeing you remind yourself who and where you are.
Yes.
And so this is very fresh for you.
Yes.
And I want to talk to you about that.
Okay, just let me know.
I absolutely, I will. I most certainly will. I want you to know I appreciate you guys so much. You know, this is just, it's been beautiful. All things through Christ Jesus, even finding love at this stage in the game.
Hey, listen, Isaac was in the middle of the field meditating when Rebecca came.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Hey, y'all, family, y'all go look that up. Isaac was in the middle of the field when Rebecca came. All right, listen. All right, Boaz. All right, Rib. Y'all, thank you for coming. I appreciate you, family. Thank you for watching, guys.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. Bye-bye for now.